Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today I got my latest 7-round Commanders mock draft. It is my 6.0 version of this mock draft here, and we are getting very, very close to the big day in Green Bay. We're less than 2 weeks away now from the start of the 2025 NFL Draft. Just got a couple more of these mocks left to go, of course, before my final mock draft, which comes out on draft day. So before we get into the content today, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you guys want another mock draft next week. If we can get another 500 likes on this week's mock draft, I will come out next week with yet another mock on this channel. Now, if you guys haven't been keeping up with all of our previous mocks from this offseason, my rule this year, guys, is I'm not repeating players from previous mocks until I get to my final mock draft, all right? So the reason for this is I want to put it in front of you guys as many draft prospects as I can in front of you, all right? As many players that I think would be good fits for the Washington Commanders and going over different scenarios. I don't want to keep throwing the same players at you guys because then it gets redundant and it's not as fun, all right? So all these players today will be players I have not taken in any Commanders mock draft to this point. So without further ado, let's get into it. And hold on here, guys, hold on. I'm getting a call, and it's Marshall Green from Giants Now by Chat Sports, and he is offering me an opportunity to move down and out of the first round, but he's offering me an additional mid-round draft pick in order to do so. So here in this trade down scenario, the Giants would be able to move up and take a quarterback that they like, get an additional year on his rookie contract with the fifth-year option because it's a first-round pick. And the Commanders move down to pick number 34, which is the second pick in the second round. And they also get an additional fourth-round pick so that they can recover some of these mid-round draft picks that they traded away for guys like Laramie Tunsil and Deebo Samuel during the offseason. So I will take that call and I will accept it. And with the 34th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft in round 2, I'm going to take Donovan Ezeiruaku, the edge out of Boston College. Now, I actually think there's a chance Ezeiruaku makes it this far in the NFL Draft this year. And I just love his ability to attack the passer, all right, the quarterback. I love his ability to win both with speed and with finesse. He's got a bunch of different hand-fighting moves that he can win with. He's a really, really smart pass rusher, knows what move to deploy at the right time, which is something that's really, really important in the National Football League. And in my opinion, guys, Washington needs to add a pure pass rusher, whether that's trading for Trey Hendrickson before the NFL Draft even starts. I'd be willing to give up my first-round pick for Trey Hendrickson, by the way, but if that's not a possibility, then your focus needs to shift on somebody that can help this defensive line get after quarterbacks. Because right now, the edge rushers that are currently on the roster are guys that are more built to play more of a run-stuffing kind of role. Dorrance Armstrong, Cleveland Ferrell, Dietrich Wise, these are bigger type of edge rushers, defensive end types that are really good at anchoring. They're really good at setting the edge. They're good at doing all those things to stop opposing running backs, but they don't really do a whole lot in terms of getting after quarterbacks. And you have 10.5 sacks last year from your number one pass rusher on the edge and Dante Fowler Jr. to replace after he goes back to the Dallas Cowboys. So I think that this is a huge need that the Commanders need to address. And last year, Ezeiruaku had 16.5 sacks in 2024. That is a lot of production for an edge rusher in college football, especially because they don't play as many games here in the NFL. 16.5 sacks is over a sack a game for Ezeiruaku. So he wins in a lot of different ways. I don't know if he's ever going to be like a top 10, true alpha type at the position, but I know he can help this defense win and help get after quarterbacks and help this team win football games in 2025. So if he's here at number 34, and I think there's a chance he could be, I think this could be a slam dunk pick for the Washington Commanders to kick off their NFL Draft. And to be honest here, guys, if I have the choice between Ezeiruaku, who's a true pass rusher, versus more run-defending type of edge rushers like Mykel Williams and Shamar Stewart, even in the first round, I would rather take Ezeiruaku at number 29 than take guys like Mykel Williams and Shamar Stewart, because I think that the need for a true pass rusher on the edge here in Washington is that important. I think Ezeiruaku brings that on day one for this football team. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Would you be happy if the Commanders traded down and out of the first round and then took Donovan Ezeiruaku out of Boston College with the 34th overall pick? Give me a yes or no down there in the comment section. And let me know what you guys think for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by going up to today's pinned comment and giving me a yes or a no. In round 2 here, I'm going to have the Washington Commanders take Jonah Savanaia. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Probably not. Probably butchering it. But he's a guard out of Arizona. No. So I got Wyatt Milam out of West Virginia, not Savanaia. I actually changed my mind in the middle of scripting this. So sorry about that. But I am taking Wyatt Milam, guard out of West Virginia. Now Milam played offensive tackle for the Mountaineers this past year, played left tackle for them, but I think that he is much more suited to be a guard at the National Football League level. I think he's going to make that transition, and I think that the Washington Commanders can certainly use somebody to convert to left guard here, and there we go. Mr. Reed, our producer, got that figured out for us. So it's Wyatt Milam, who the Washington Commanders have actually shown a lot of interest in during the draft process, by the way. He had a top 30 visit. They brought him in. They talked with him at the NFL Combine as well. And, pretty much, guys, priority number 1 with the Washington Commanders moving forward is to protect Jayden Daniels. Protect your franchise quarterback, all right? Last year, I don't think they did necessarily a fantastic job of doing that. Of course, that's why they went out and got Laramie Tunsil this offseason. And, I think that they need help along the interior still of this offensive line because you got guys like Nick Allegretti, who started for this team last year, but I thought really underwhelmed. Sam Cosmi, it looks like he's going to be missing time during the season as well. They're going to be trying Brandon Coleman out at right tackle. So I think that your tackle positions, at least for now, are kind of squared away. I think they're going to put Andrew Wylie over at right guard while Cosmi recovers from his injury. And, if you can get a guy like Milam, who I think can be a straight-up upgrade from Nick Allegretti along this offensive line, that's something I'm willing to do. Milam is a really, really good pass protector, especially from the guard spot. He actually was asked to take reps from the guard position at left guard during the Senior Bowl, and he was absolutely fantastic. So I think he can start for the Washington Commanders at left guard from day 1. And I think that he's going to be probably a round 2 pick in this year's NFL draft class. So I think, making sure that Jayden Daniels is protected has got to be priority number 1 for this entire franchise. You have an opportunity to upgrade at left guard here in round 2. That is something that I want to do. Now, coming up here on this week's mock draft here on the Commanders Report, day 3 picks. Of course, we have that extra 4th-round pick from the New York Giants coming up here after today's sponsor, Reed. And today our sponsor is Prize Picks. And Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action all on your phone. You can download the Prize Picks app for free today and get started with over 10 million members that have already signed up. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect, and you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where every Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts like player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Guys, it's super easy to play on Prize Picks as well. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And it can be for any sport that you want. When football gets going again, you got baseball going on right now. Basketball playoffs are coming up here really quickly. You can even go stock car racing on Prize Picks as well. All right, so you guys can get it going right now. Get your first projection in. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup when you download the Prize Picks app today. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, so here in round 4, and, this is going to be something where I'm kind of banking on a little bit of a slide from Darian Porter, cornerback out of Iowa State, because this guy's an absolute physical freak, all right? And there's a lot of people that project Porter to go in round 2 and at the very earliest round 3, but because Porter needs so much development, all right? Like, he played in a very limited role at Iowa State. He really only played in man coverage, and, he's really good at that, and he's got an incredible physical profile. But the fact that he needs development and he's not going to be able to really play right away, I think gives other cornerbacks an opportunity to go ahead of him and the potential for him to slide to the Washington Commanders here at the top of round 4. You take a look at his physical profile. I mean, it's exactly what you look for, man. He's got long arms. He's tall. He runs a 4.3. I mean, this guy is so fast, so quick, so explosive. And then you pair that with the arm length at over 33 inches for a corner, which is absolutely phenomenal. Almost a perfect 10 out of 10 relative athletic score. And listen, man, there's certainly a possibility that a team, maybe even the Commanders, take a shot on these tools in round 2. And I think that if he does get here to round 4, I don't think Joe Witt Jr. and Dan Quinn could run that card up faster because I think that they love projects like this. They like to take these guys that are very toolsy but maybe a little bit raw coming out of college and then turning them into absolute ball hawks in the league. Just look at what they did with Trayvon Diggs with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, these two guys know how to work with defensive backs and turn them into great players. I think that they feel like they could do the same thing with Darian Porter to make him their future number 1 cornerback, even though he probably wouldn't play in year 1 for this football team. And, I think that this is a position where you can afford to get a developmental player and be patient with him, all right? You did bring in Jonathan Jones on a short-term deal, so you can go out and play him as your week 1 starter. And, if he stinks, then it's like, all right, Darian, you got an opportunity to prove yourself here later in the season. Of course, you always have the option of going back to Mike Samerstroll on the outside and putting Noah Igbenogany back in a full-time role in the slot if, in case of an emergency there. But I think if you get a guy like Darian Porter, you're setting yourself up to potentially get a true number 1 corner for the future here. And if he does slide here all the way to number 105, which I think might be a little bit unlikely, but I still think is possible, which is why I've put him here in this week's mock draft at 105. But I think it could be a hell of a pick for the Washington Commanders in this year's NFL draft. Then at 128, I'm going to take another player in the secondary. I'm going to take Jonas Sanker, safety out of Virginia, somebody that is a really, really good and really versatile player that's really good against the run. And right now, the Washington Commanders, in my opinion, need somebody that they can trust to play the quote-unquote Jeremy Chin role, where he can go in there and he can be a reliable run defender in the box. And I think that his size and versatility is what really draws me to him. He can play in the slot if you need him to as well. I think he plays with really, really good instincts. And, he's definitely got the size, too. He's over 210 pounds. So I like what Sanker brings to the table. And I would be thrilled if the Washington Commanders can get him in round 4. Then we go all the way to round 6 here at pick 205, where I'm going to take a wide receiver, Kobe Hudson, one of my favorite receivers in this entire class, because I love his route running. Now, he's not going to be a true vertical threat, and he's not going to be a true number 1 or anything like that, because he doesn't have the physical profile to be able to do that. But what he is that he is a technician as a route runner. I mean, he's able to create separation, and even for somebody that isn't all that fast and he's not a burner, because of the way he runs routes and he gets people to kind of go for his fakes and all the different things that he does as a route runner, he can actually separate down the field as well. So I think, right now the consensus big board has him at 212th overall, and I think that he's one of the best pure route runners in the entire class. So this would be an absolute steal at pick 205. That's within the margins for the consensus big board here. And I think that if you add him alongside Terry McLaurin, who's a true alpha, and Deebo Samuel, who's a true Swiss Army knife chess piece, I think that would be an awesome combination and an awesome trio for the Washington Commanders to roll out there. And then you still got guys like Noah Brown and Luke McCaffrey that can still help out the room as well. Then my final pick here in round 7, I got a running back out of UC Davis, my man, Lan Larison. And this guy's just a playmaker, man. And this is kind of like the Julian Edelman type of pick for me, where it's like, this guy can play football. I don't know exactly where he's going to play. We can try him out at running back, but he's got great receiving chops as well. He's great after the catch. He's got legitimate speed that I think can survive at the NFL level. And, I think that Larison can play, plain and simply. And if you draft him, you find a spot where he works, whether that's slot wide receiver, whether that's running back, whether that's just a chess piece weapon that you move all over the formation, he's going to find a home, man. He's a good football player. And I think that this is somebody that I want to take a chance on if I am the Washington Commanders. There's also a chance he becomes a UDFA, but I think there's going to be a lot of teams that want to add him as a UDFA, so I don't want to run the risk of going to the open market after the draft and he ends up going elsewhere. So I take him here in round 7. So here's my 6.0 7-round Commanders mock draft haul, where I've got Donovan Ezeiruaku at the top of round 2 after the trade down, then Wyatt Milam out of West Virginia to be our new starting left guard. You got Darian Porter to be somebody that's a developmental corner on the outside. Jonas Sanker to be your new strong safety. Kobe Hudson to be a nice piece in the rotation at wide receiver. And then Lamb Larison as somebody that will figure out where to put him once we get him in our building. So grade my mock draft here, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. And that'll be it for this week's mock draft here on the Commander's Report by Chat Sports. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate you guys watching to the very end of all of our videos. And until next time, guys, go raise some hail.